DVD Era TV back at y'all with another one. Y'all know the slogan. Today we gonna talk about the time Jim Jones threw champagne bottles at French Montana while he performed. Now let's get into it. Mixtapes and DVDs is my era.
Facts.
We did it better.
Yep.
Pelly leathers,
Facts.
ACG boots. We 80s babies and early 90s when it got grimy. I was out of this world, you could not find me unless you check the lobby. Hustling was my hobby. We was lobby boys before Jim Jones. You could catch me in Harlem eating Jimbos. Now the beef with Jim Jones and French Montana goes all the way back to Little C's exposing that footage of the fight with Jim Jones and Junior Mafia on that Cocaine City DVD. And, Jim Jones wasn't feeling that at all. So that kind of sparked their whole beef. So after French let that footage come out, him and Jim Jones will go back and forth on various DVDs, taking shots at one another. And, it was on from there.
Hey, Frenchie, I think you should get a DVD game up, because it ain't going to work for you too much longer.
Now, at this time, French Montana was still on the come up, trying to find his way to break into the music industry. So after they continued to send shots at each other, French finally made a diss record towards Jim Jones. And one of the first diss records French made towards Jim Jones was on a Live from Africa mixtape, and it was called Wavy. This record features Max B. It's like a remix to Jim Jones' You Don't Love Me No More record. And also on that mixtape, he had a record called Rockstar. So now at this time, Max B was beefing with Jim Jones as well. And, French was beefing with Jim Jones because he felt like Jim Jones is blackballing him from getting in the industry and telling people not to work with him. So now that both of them was beefing with Jim Jones and they made a few records together, they decided to link up and go hard. And, that's how the whole Coke wave was made. Now, the whole Coke wave kind of built their whole career around dissing Jim Jones, whether they was dissing them in interviews they were doing or on their records. The Coke wave was basically like Max B and French Montana going at Jim Jones. And being that they were going at each other all the time, it'll be situations that happen between them in the streets. Sometimes it'd be Jim Jones that get the rundown on Max, or Max and them might see Jim Jones and run down on him. But, it definitely spilled into the streets. But, eventually Max B will go to jail. And, French Montana's one of them dudes that connect himself to whatever's hot. So when it's something new that's hot, he connect himself to it immediately and keep himself elevating. So, around this time, Max B is gone. He's in jail. So he start messing with Waka Flocka. And, at this time, Waka Flocka and French was setting up to put out that Lockout mixtape. But around this time, French was just bouncing around from this person to that one, running with this person and that one, and having connects with this one and that one. And, he just is all over the place at this time. But this particular incident was a Funk Flex party. And, Fat Joe was performing, and Fat Joe brung French out to perform. The first song French decides to perform was Waka Flocka Hard in the Paint remix. Now, as French is performing, he gets to the middle of his verse, and then you start seeing bottles from the balcony above the stage start getting thrown at him. Now, you see the champagne bottles splashing and hitting the stage, but none of them really hit French. And, he kept it professional. He kept performing. It didn't ruin his performance. And, he even looked up there and started rapping some of the lyrics at Jim Jones. And, some of his guys even threw bottles back. From what I'm understanding, this situation didn't get too out of control. I just felt like Jim Jones was making a statement. French and them was coming at him a lot around this time. And he wanted to show them like, yo, I'm in the night scene. I'm in these clubs. You're going to run into me. So that's what that situation more than likely was about. And Jim Jones and them probably got kicked up out of that spot anyway after that. Now, Jim Jones and French Montana next run-in happened in Miami. Jim Jones reached out to some of French people, being that they both was out there so they could set up a fade. And, French Montana didn't want to fight. He was in a different space in his life at the time. Max B is in jail, and, he's just moving forward and trying to progress. Know what I mean? So he ain't really want to backtrack and go bring up the old beef with him and Jim Jones. But Jim Jones just felt like the way they disrespected him, he couldn't be in the same place with them or same environment unless they got it off their chest and fought like men. Now, what's crazy is Joel Santana was hanging around French Montana and a few other of Jim Jones guys. And, you know, I just feel like Jim, like, look, man, we not going to be around each other until we get this off our chest. Things got too disrespectful, and we can't be cool. And, you know, now they're cool. They made a few records together. They were able to squash their beef like men. They're pushing the whole hip-hop culture in New York forward. So I salute them for that. But tell me what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'm out. One.